Okay, so the last thing we'll do in this tutorial is we'll actually deploy an application to a device. So what I've done is I've hooked up my Nexus 5 to my computer via USB, and it's configured to go. If you don't have a physical device, then this is when you would want to open up the AVD manager as discussed before, and go ahead and start up an emulator. Now before we deploy the application, I should probably add some kind of visual elements to it. So I'm going to go to the ResLayout Directory, open up activity main.xml, and what I'm going to do is you should see a palette tab here. I'm going to click palette, then I'm going to click on this text view thing here, and I'm going to click and drag one of these into the middle of our screen here, as you can see. Just try and get it centered. There we go. Now with it selected, don't worry about the finer details here, but with this text view selected, and this is basically just a way to add text to the screen, there's this magic wand icon up here called Infer Constraints. So with the text view selected, I'm just going to hit that, and that's going to constrain this text view to the center of the device's screen. Now what I'll do next is currently I'm in the design editor, and I'd actually like to just directly edit the XML, which this design editor is based on. So I'm going to click on this text tab down here, and as you can see we have a bunch of stuff already added for us. I'm going to create a new XML attribute, so this one's going to be Android, and this is going to be text size, and then in there we're going to type 32SP. Now another thing is in the Android text attribute we're going to type hello world. Now jumping back to the design editor, as we can see that has increased the font size of that particular text view, and the last thing we'll do is we'll actually deploy this application to a device. Now, when we actually want to deploy an application, you may need to build it by hitting Make Project, but in any case what you can do is you can hit the green play button up here, or run button, and so if you have a virtual device running, it should show up in connected devices. In this case, I have connected my Nexus 5X to the computer using a USB, and I have USB debugging enabled in the developer options as discussed before. So when you're all set, hit OK, and hopefully you won't see any errors. So after hitting the run button, my Nexus 5 is now displaying a very ugly little application which you can barely see, but there it is. So if you manage to actually deploy your application to some kind of device, physical or otherwise, then congratulations, you are now an Android developer.